We're back. Welcome to round number 2 of Wednesday Night Standard here on Top Deck Productions. We are in Mason.
Not only are we back, Luke Browning's back.
Luke Browning's back. He faces our bounty hunter. John Tople collected the bounty last round. Defeated Justin Gebbings on the green-white tokens deck again. John's on control. Luke on blue-black Surveil. I think Luke stands a good chance here because he's got more aggressive cards as well as Thought Erasure. So he can go in, Thought Erasure on an operative turn, and then hopefully resolve one of his big threats.
Dream Eater will be real big here,
thereafter.
too.
Dream Eater's also really good. John Douglas is a huge advocate of IBC root beer.
No. Huge advocate of root beer. IBC is like very middle of the road.
Oh, I was trying to get us some IBC sponsor. I think if you would take free IBC root beer.
Probably not.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll shut up then. Root beer is a great beverage.
Yeah, just root beer in general, very good. IBC, like Barks and A&W, stuff like that, just not great. Kind of gets away from its roots
Of the beer. What do you think the best like national brand is? Like, what's the best brand I can go into Kroger and find?
Well,
or a Ralph's, if I'm on the West Coast.
I've never been to a Ralph's before.
It's owned by Kroger, so
I couldn't tell you.
It looks like a Kroger.
But I hear good things about Ralph's brand root beer. Ralph's root beer.
What?
Ralph's root beer.
All right.
Man, these Luke likes to lean on this Field of Ruin, and it is not great in this format. It's okay for Luke because he only needs the 2 mana, or the 2 colors of mana, rather.
Right. I think it was really good in the last format because we had more lands.
Right.
That were, you know what I mean? That
and we'll get there. It's just a new format, so, I mean, there's...
Yeah, it'll come back around.
A smaller card pool. So I'm trying to find the name of the root beer that I buy at Kroger that's really good. I think it's called Sprechen.
Yeah. I know you were... Where were you? There was some reason you weren't at the house for a while, and you had a sugar-free root beer there for some reason.
It was so bad.
And I was like, oh, I'll drink one of these, and if John cares, I'll go buy him another one.
Sprecher.
And I was like, he will not care that I have this root beer because this is horrible.
It was there for, Sprechers. Sprecher's root beer, very good. Definitely recommend some Sprechers.
All right, so Sprecher root beer. Yeah, now if we're drinking sarsaparilla...
Sunset Sarsaparilla.
Sioux City Sarsaparilla. That's a good one.
You want the Sunset Sarsaparilla for sure.
Is it?
That's what you want.
Okay, noted.
Later, Medieval. Enjoy your sarsaparilla.
No problem. We'll see you next week, Medieval, and enjoy the standard while you're out on your journeys across the land. Here's a Field of Ruin activation targeting a watery grave. And it was real good against John here because it took him off of both his colors until you had to made him pick blue or black. Which one's in your hand? Oh, and he floated the blue to play the Chemister's Insight.
So not real good against John, but instead ramped him a little bit. So speaking of Sunset Sarsaparilla, there is a new Fallout game out today.
Oh, is that the brand of sarsaparilla in Fallout?
Yes.
Okay. New Fallout game out today.
It's like tonight midnight, I think. Very excited about it.
Fallout 76.
Yeah, they skipped all the way to 76.
I know you loved Fallout 4 because I think you played to every possible ending of the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
He really ground this one to dust.
So I've played. My favorite Fallout is New Vegas, actually.
Okay.
Very good. But I had already played that one to death. And when 76 got announced, I realized that there were 2 of the DLCs for Fallout 4 that I never played. So I just played those. That's what you saw.
All right.
Some DLC action.
I don't know which part was which. I know that the theme park area was DLC. What was
Yes.
the one before that?
Nuka World was very good. There was the robot one, whatever that was.
Oh, where the robot walks through town? That's DLC?
The robot walks through
The
town.
nuclear-powered robot, like, goes through town. It's like, I'm going to kill the whatever thing. Like, it's on a mission that doesn't matter anymore.
Spoilers. Liberty Prime is part of the main game.
Okay. So, Luke has resolved disinformation campaign, which I'm on, apparently.
Yes. Not... He resolved a thought erasure there and was picking up his disinformation campaign.
Well, he resolved disinformation campaign and thought erasure. So this is the important in the control mirror, because if he can get multiple triggers off this thought erasure, he's going to be in good shape.
Automatron was the first one, and then Far Harbor. Far Harbor was a lot of fun, but a little bit...
Oh, Far Harbor that was a place where we fought the giant crab thing.
Yes.
I was like ready to go to bed, and he's like, "Oh, watch me fight this crab. It's cool."
It's a really big crab.
It is a huge crab, but it took him like 20 minutes to get to this crab. I'm like, dude, I'm trying to go to sleep. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm fighting a crab.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think that 4-color control is ever going to be very powerful in this format when, like, the weenies are as strong as they are.
So Chromium discarded to the disinformation campaign. Chemistry's Insight getting jump started. And you should just start with disinformation campaign here, Luke. Every turn should start that way.
Yeah. Disinformation campaign is very solid.
Syncopate.
It's going to earn a syncopate. Does he have a second one by now? Yep.
Yep.
It's usually the way it works.
Land down. Yep.
Tople's down to just the Vraska's Contempt, which Luke knows about. Surprise, Luke doesn't have any targets.
All right.
So we've got the Eldest Reborn, which might be a big deal here. John with 2 cards in hand. So it's not going to be able to empty his hand, but next time we pick up this disinformation campaign, it's going to be much better.
Yeah, so I think Luke's at a position where he can play this Eldest Reborn, leaving back, and just wait to get the disinformation campaign back next time he needs to counter a spell with Sinister Sabotage. Looks at 2 cards. 1 down, 1 up. Draws that card. Disinformation campaign comes back to hand. Plays it again. Leaving up blue, blue, black.
So yeah, Marty Blue can play Nico Bolas, but like you don't even play Grixis right now. What's the point? Esper's mana might be better. Esper's mana will be better. Esper's cards might be better suited for control than Jeskai, because we'll get all those Orzhov cards coming in and all the Azorius cards coming in. But I don't think going wild on the colors is really where you want to be, especially in a Shockland mana base where you're going to want to play your third land untapped for sure.
Yes.
To hit stuff like Clarion and removal spells.
I think Luke just pulled out 12 cards. All right, he puts a couple back.
Don't want
still
any
at, like,
of these.
10. Nope. Test. All right, here we go. And, yeah, so he's really paring it down now. Now we might be at 6 cards, 8 cards, which is good. 3, 4, 6, yeah. Adds a duress in. Got those nice white border duresses.
So here's a spicy one for you, a hot take, if you will.
All right, take me there.
Duress is not good right now.
All right, yeah, you don't have to sell me on that. I would not want it in my main deck.
It's just not good against control. Like, I wouldn't even want to board it in.
Okay.
There's so much draw and top deck manipulation that, like, a duress is nothing. Like, you take what? A Chemister's Insight, they get to recast it. You take whatever operative card, they're just going to redraw it or draw back into it. A lot of people didn't play it in the last Pro Tour. There wasn't a lot of black, period.
Yeah, the black decks were underrepresented. Let's see.
The
Drake's Golgari mid-range was, let's count these. 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12.
King of 9X, I agree that Magic is the most fun when the mana is good. I don't think that... I think there's definitely such thing as a mana being too good. And we saw that in the cons of the Gatewatch standard, where it was just abysmal.
All right. So
also, Mirage Conjecture has been a solid sideboard card out of Blue-Red Drakes against the control matchups.
So there were 37 Golgari decks.
Mm-hmm.
And other than like a smattering of Esper decks, Esper control decks, I don't see anything else. There's what Grixis control deck. Shoto Yasuoka played.
So there's going to be a lot of duresses in there, just because you don't have anything else.
Right.
But my point is, it's not good. It's not good enough.
Right. I'm just saying that, like, as far as black being underrepresented, I agree.
Oh yeah. So the issue is
the 8th most played card.
Yeah, I mean, half of the list that you just said was black in like Golgari midrange and things like that.
Yep.
But duress just doesn't beat the control decks. It used to be like, oh, I'm playing a deck with black in it. Control is going to be a good matchup because I can just bring in 4 duress.
Sure.
Or bring in 4 duress, 4 negate. That's how you beat control. Doesn't work anymore. Do not talk to me about Unmoored Ego. We're not going to start that again. We're not doing it.
Is this the one that the new
Yeah.
the new Life's Legacy or whatever it's called, the thing that removes a card from the deck?
God, it's so
extraction?
bad. It is so bad. Do not play these cards.
So, okay, they made that effect for... It didn't even cost mana. You could pay 2 life in the card and remove cards from the graveyard.
Yeah.
And that card was barely playable in its standard environment.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're like targeting a card that they've already targeted with like a reanimate spell, that card is so bad. They're never good.
Right. So the issue with this one and with Lost Legacy and et cetera, like it's good when you're up against combo decks where they need like a very specific card and like you can just nab it out of nowhere and steal a win, but that doesn't really exist anymore. Here we go. Very simple. The interesting part of this one is that you can name a basic land, but you can only get up to 6 of these, or up to 4 cards, which doesn't really matter all that much. The issue is you're spending a card to do You're not affecting the board state. You're not affecting their hand necessarily. You might not even be affecting their graveyard. You're just taking a stab at the dark. Like, hey, I want to get rid of Niv Mizzet. Okay, well, here's a Drake, or here's a Teferi, or here's an Explosion. You're dead.
Yep.
Nobody has a lot of... Nobody is, like, so all in on one threat that you can afford to run this card against them. I see people playing it against Carnage Tyrant. Listen, I had... What was the one before Lost Legacy?
Yeah, you had a million of them. Whoa.
No, Lost Legacy was the one that I owned a bunch of them and tore them up, and people kept giving them to me. But whatever the version of this before Lost Legacy was, somebody did that to get rid of my Siege Rhinos in, like, a Mardu Red deck.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, all right, you're dead.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything.
It doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything. Nothing means anything. I wouldn't even play that card against, like, Storm.
Wow.
Like, oh, I got your Grave Shot. Okay, well, here's a bajillion goblins.
So, shout out to Tople here. He's got Squee.
Squee is a
The
nice
Immortal?
one. There was the month that I played Squee in my sideboard of the red-black deck
Yeah.
was my favorite month by far.
You played it next. I got to sit next to this while he did this at the RPTQ, the team RPTQ.
Yeah.
And just when he would play Squee against these people and they'd read it and they're like, "Well, all right, you got me."
Okay. Now, the best was like Chandra plus reveal a Squee. I'm like, I'm not gonna play it. I'll play Squee.
Take two and I'll play Squee. Tople here is using it to be discarded to this enchantment and then playing it.
Yeah. It's very good against control in this style control where they're gonna just try to grind you out and have to rely on one-on-one removal.
So good. He makes a lifelinking soldier, which we have a ton of right next to him, decides to not grab them.
Yeah, he needs to grab one of those right now.
Somebody go hand him a...
Get yourself a soldier, son.
It's only useful. You just card your opponent's deck, you literally no way to... Like, and then just build your deck better.
Just build your deck better is right.
Magic Matt, just build your deck better is the best advice I've ever heard given to a Magic player.
Not even being facetious.
No, it's like a close second is Mulligan More.
Yeah, Mulligan More is the big one.
Mulligan More and build your deck better.
Luke draws the Spyglass, which is going to be a huge deal here.
Is it?
Yes. We're going to shut off this enchantment.
Okay.
It won't... yeah, I
So
don't
he
think it
still
shuts off the draw trigger.
Right, it's a triggered ability, not an activated ability.
But it will stop him from making more creatures, so when you deal with that one, you're in business.
Dawn of Hope.
Dawn
is
of
the
Hope.
Enchantment, not this enchantment.
You need to be pro-mulligan. Nothing feels better than winning off of like a mull to 5.
Thought Erasure and chooses not to do the draw card on the Dawn of Hope.
Maybe he doesn't realize that he still can.
Oh man, you got somebody going in on you.
Let's go.
Duress, everything he says is definite. Duress is amazing, always will be, because of Settle the Wreckage. You have creatures, and they did the standard left enough mana open for Settle or Counterspell. You duress them before it attacks. What do? They lose. Duress is amazing against control. Maybe not like it used to be, but it's still amazing.
So, you don't see a lot of Settle in the main decks anymore. Most decks are just running Cleansing Nova with Clarion. I would definitely agree if they were still playing Settle that you could set up a board position where you can get them.
Yep.
100%. But even then, like we learned last format, you just play around settle. Like you don't need to have an answer for settle.
Yeah, I don't hate.
I tell you what, I don't hate Doom Whisper.
Yeah, Doom Whisper, good card. Better than Duress even.
Well, good enough to take Tople down. Good enough to topple the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, Luke showing this Surveil deck has some teeth.
Yeah. So Luke's really tearing through the competition with this Surveil deck. Although he has played, what was it, Drake's last round, 4-color control this round. He hasn't really played a lot of like super tuned decks.
Right.
But Tople's a good player. I definitely don't want to discount that.
Yeah, I definitely take it seriously when I sit down against him. He's not gonna. This deck is something else. Legion War Bosses out of the board.
Legion War Bosses out of the board in 4-color control. All right. Well, that's an interesting play. You can definitely go that route.
Yeah, geez, this is a serious one.
Yeah, I
So-
think both of these decks are pretty soft to aggro, but
Yeah, I'm not. Here's my thing. I'm not good enough at deck building to like take a raw idea and like bring it to an FNM. Like I would just get frustrated.
sure.
So I much prefer to take an idea.
Preachman, thank you for the follow. Yeah, we haven't seen any red or white weenie decks here yet tonight. Yeah, right there. Did the spunk go down the wrong hole or something?
No.
All right. We don't have a lot of the white weenie decks that I've seen, although I haven't really gotten a chance to walk around between rounds because the last one went to time.
Excuse me.
You back?
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I like started choking on my own tongue. Woo! Welcome to Top Deck Productions.
Welcome.
Yeah, I don't think. So the Pro Tour results are exciting,
Yes.
but I do not think I'm on the train of these white decks not being the entirety of the metagame.
Correct. Yeah, they were the right call for that weekend. Absolutely. But there are definitely decks that can beat it. There are decks that actually are pretty favored against it. So you have like, I think the Drake's deck is pretty good against the mono white decks. Definitely the mono red deck is very good against mono white.
Right. I'm excited to build that deck. The red deck.
Oh, you're back on mono red?
Yeah, so I thought it was a dead deck.
Dead deck.
And then Eric Froelich, who I usually disagree with, advocated for it.
Yeah.
And so when I get on the same page with somebody I typically disagree with,
Yeah.
that's when I know something's good.
All right. That's a solid way to live your life.
Is it?
Yeah.
It leaves me open to listening to the other side, I think.
I can see that. So the mono red deck is very good against white decks. You can kind of get under Jeskai, but it's a tough matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Not great when these Golgari decks are overloading on the Wild Growth Walkers. But they're kind of trying to dial back from those, at least in the main deck right now, to try and combat this Jeskai Menace, which isn't working.
Not working because
No.
Duress is underpowered.
Duress being underpowered isn't the sole reason. They just have to run a lot of creatures, and, that's typically not good. A lot of value creatures, so you don't have this, very aggressive start that you can get under a control deck with. And that's really the problem. Is it all your creatures are like 2 power dorks, 3 power dorks on turn 2 if you're really lucky?
Yeah.
You miss like the explosive draws of Snake plus Rishkar and things like that.
Man, those days.
Those days.
That was such a good day when you went Snake into Rishkar.
Yeah.
I think I look forward to this next set. I think Standard is in a super even place right now. The thing I love about it is I think we're back to a point in Standard where you could build whatever deck you wanted.
Yeah.
And, like, don't think about it as like a 60-card deck. Think about it as like an 80 or 90-card deck because you're going to tune it every week to change your numbers.
Right.
And that way you can beat an expected metagame. And so that way certain decks will fall in and out of favor, and the lists will start to get honed. So instead of having a metagame where you're building new decks constantly and new decks are coming in, that's not what's happening here. We're honing our blades.
Honing them.
And that's how the metagame is. When you talk about a metagame shifting, like, okay, we're shifting these... Golgari decks are shifting this way with these certain cards.
Right.
The red decks are shifting this way with these certain cards. And that's the metagame shifting, not not decks being played more than others.
Right. I think it's going to be really interesting because right now you have, 4 decks that could very easily be called Tier 1 and, another 3 or 4 that are right behind that are still very good. I don't think that those decks are going to go anywhere when we see this new set added, and the better mana for a lot of the other color pairs is going to create a lot of new archetypes. So we could have a hugely diverse metagame as long as nothing's too overpowered in the next set.
Yeah, and we talk about like how things are over versus underpowered. I like the power level of a lot of these cards. Like, I think the big end cards, the Veraskas, the Teferis, the Karns, I know named Planeswalkers, but those are the big end powerful cards.
Just name Planeswalkers. I think Teferi's probably too powerful, but...
I mean, Teferi's on the high, like, probably the most powerful card in Standard on its face. But I like the power level of that. I feel like I'm doing something very big and effective. I'm spending 5 mana on him.
I have not seen Aliantrazi's deck yet.
I don't think it's overpowered. Are we hunting down a certain deck? Let's look. Get the old Control F.
Chromatic Black deck. That sounds really interesting.
Is this on Star City Games? We gotta...
Yeah, we do have a lot of answers to Teferi. That's true. But I think him being like very powerful definitely creates like a stamp on the format.
All right.
You can't not have an answer to Teferi.
Is it on the premium side here?
Not sure where it's at.
Yeah, if anybody's got
Kicked a fight with fire one time to kill its fairy. That's a good way to do it.
Yeah, you gotta have something. I don't think I've ever kicked a fight with fire.
Really?
Yeah.
Feels good. Not even in like draft. We drafted that format a lot.
We did draft that format a lot. Maybe I did it in draft. I always wanted to play the front end and then bring back the back end. Is this on Goldfish? Where am I at?
This is just cool stuff.
Cool stuff. Okay, I didn't realize he was writing for cool stuff, so we can...
They got a link in the chat already.
Oh, do we got a link in the chat already? All right, thanks, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, this deck looks sweet. It gets to play all the cards that I want to play.
Yeah, so you get to actually cast them. He's got 4 Chromatic Lantern. So that's not my favorite turn 3 in the format.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to cast a turn 3, but look what else we've got in the deck. There's not a whole lot of other things to cast on turn 3.
Yeah.
You don't have to sell me on a Mastermind's Acquisition deck. I had a lot of fun playing that card in the last format as well.
Yeah, so the Mastermind's Acquisition is fun, but I don't think it's good.
It can be. Like the deck that I played, I don't even remember what it was called. It was
like a green black
9 color
Yeah, it just
promise hour whatever.
right, hour promise.
Hour
And it
promise.
just churned.
Yeah, that was it was a fun one. I had a lot of fun grinding out matches with that.
Go to time.deck.
I didn't go to time with it ever.
I've watched you go to time with it.
When?
At F&M.
No. Me?
You. All right.
I got to win through a Chandra alt with it. That was a blast.
Was that a good one?
That was a good one.
But yeah, I don't know that, like...
Listen, saying Robert Meadows is a strange dude is no disrespect. He is a nice guy, but I think he would admit that he is also strange.
Yeah, listen, I'm a real strange dude. Like, if you ever meet me and spend any amount of time hanging out with me, you're going to be like, that guy is a weird guy
One weird
masquerading
guy.
as a normal guy.
So the one thing I don't like about this chromatic black list,
Yeah.
you don't have any ramp, which is kind of what the deck did last time, to be able to cast Mastermind's Acquisition and something else in the same turn. The Cabal Stronghold is nice for ramping.
Does that mean that does that interact with Chromatic Lantern in a way that, like, you can just generate a bunch of mana of whatever color you want?
No. Chromatic Lantern just gives your lands the ability to tap for 1 mana of any color.
Okay, so it just adds a new ability to the land.
Right.
Which is good for Chromatic or for Cabal Stronghold, because does it tap for a black? Can you just get a black mana out of it?
Yeah, you can get a colorless mana out of it.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm not, like, opposed to any things in this deck. It's got a lot. It needs some early game.
So the version that I played in the last format was definitely an Hour of Promise deck, and not a Mastermind's Acquisition deck. And this just doesn't.
Time out. Why are we playing? Are we literally only playing Chromatic Lantern to play Niv Mizzet?
Treasure Map.
And Treasure Map to play. Oh, okay, I guess you get all these weird cards out of the sideboard.
Yeah, you get your Omniscience out of the board. So the thing about Mastermind's Acquisition is it's not just a tutor, but you get to find the cards out of the board too. So you don't need to play like your Zakama or your Omniscience in the main.
In the main deck, sure.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a sweet deck. Man.
You're gonna have to put that one together.
I'm thinking about it. It looks fun.
Thinking hard about it.
It's got a lot of my favorite cards. Like, I really like Phyrexian Scriptures. I think it's underplayed. Karn.
The Karn Treasure Map combo is really strong.
Stop it with the combo talk.
Well, no, so you get to make that, like, my favorite ability on Karn is making the construct.
Yeah, I know.
And John hates it.
I don't hate it. I've done it many times.
I know.
It's just that you want to play it on 4 and then minus it immediately.
Yeah.
Like, here's my 1/1. Deal with it.
I want to have 4 artifacts in play when I do it, too. I want to be like, here's my 5/5. Deal with it. Also, this Planeswalker is going up next turn.
Yeah.
Going to the moon.
I like Karn because it means I get to draw all my lands in my deck. Because my opponent will always give me the land.
Absolutely.
And late game, it's just basically a very limited tutor. Like, oh, I need this card this turn.
Yeah, I'm when I build this frenzied experiment deck, I'm definitely. I think I'm going to go 2 and 2 on Karns and Treasure Maps. Like, Treasure Maps were in the board.
You got to get the combo in there.
But
you got to get the combo in there. All right, we've got to notice here that the next round's going to start soon. We're going to go try to scout and see what people are playing. Come back with a good match for you.
Good one.
We'll be back here soon.